Also, I'd like to point out that I was informed that this is a speech competition. And I believe that I just won 1 point already for the length of that speech. I don't have that much of a slideshow. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Emily. I'm Katie's, one of her maid of honors and best friend since July 10th, 1988. You got it wrong, Pops. 1988. It was on that day that we moved to Maryland from Delaware, a long trek, I know. And I was helping my family unpack our U-Haul, and Katie rides up with pigtails in her hair and her then best friend, she's long gone, and very, very brazenly walks up to my 12-year-old sister and says, "Can your daughter come play?" And my sister at that time rolls her eyes and goes, "I don't give a shit what you do," and walks away. Next thing you know, I'm sitting at the O'Neill dinner table. Mr. O'Neill had already made a nickname for me, and it sounded something like, "Ellen O'Neill." And that would wake me up at 8 o'clock in the morning every Saturday in my teenage life. At that time, I had an O'Neill staple for dinner: ramen noodles, fish sticks, canned green beans, and butter. And it was also at that time that I learned I would inherit a lot of life lessons from the O'Neills. I'd like to teach all of you some of those lessons at this time. Lesson number 1, Entenmann's and Tasty Cakes are a food group. Lesson number 2, you can pick your nose and you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Don't try it, Aaron. Most conversations can be carried out to a tune, usually out of tune, but it's way more to sing than to speak. And again, usually on a Saturday morning when you have teenagers in the house. Locking the door of your home is for the birds. This is how I got my Entenmann's and Tasty Cakes for most of my teenage years, and borrowed Katie's clothing when they were at church. Don't make Erin O'Neill angry, because it usually results in her trying to break one of Katie's limbs. And lesson number 6, you're never too old to get Legos as a gift. Most importantly, however, are the rules that Mr. O'Neill imparted upon us. As Katie and I grew up and started to venture out into cars and go out with boys, we had to recite the rules every single time. In order to be able to leave the house from the age of 14 on, this is what we had to say. No drinking, no drugs, no smoking, no sex. No drinking while driving, no drugs while driving, no smoking while driving, no sex while driving. And none of the above in combination while driving. On your way out, you can pick up a card to put in your wallet, just so you don't forget. So, imagine the embarrassment of bringing boys around when you had to recite these rules before leaving the house. This may be one of the reasons that Katie O never had a real boyfriend. At least that we knew about. She kept it very private. Little did we know that she was simply waiting for the perfect man to come along to complete her. Enter Steve. Steve, who collects bobblehead dolls and WWF figurines as a grown adult. Steve, who only wears shorts year-round, even at sub-zero temperatures. Steve, who wore one of my Polish grandmother's frocks to a Micah-themed party.
Yes, he did!
But this is also Steve, who adored Katie from the moment he met her. Just as I did in the 3rd grade. And the Steve who loves University of Delaware football games, just as Mr. O'Neill did. The Steve who agrees to wear silly pajamas on Christmas morning, just as the O'Neill women do. And the Steve who works with children every day and loves working with them so much that he drives exactly 50 minutes each way to continue to do so. This is also the Steve who somehow got our Katie O to say yes and pop the question in a way that Mr. O'Neill would have been very proud of. At University of Delaware football game. Steve, I know this means that I now have to share my best friend with you, but I don't think I could have picked a better person. And please continue to make her happy for the rest of her life. So, now that I'm shaking, I'm almost crying. I'd like to make a toast for the bride and groom to unconditional love, constant laughter, and a long way to go. Cheers.
Cheers. Toast. Toast. Yeah.